So here we go. Here is your grid for the final on day one of the final weekend of the championship. It's DD2 Masters. So Thomas Piet took the race win earlier on in the pre-final today, and he won by just over 1.5 seconds by the man who's alongside him, Paul Levaux from France. And then Paul Levaux's nearest championship challenger is Ian Getz, who is going to be behind him, along with the man who is going to be an outgoing champion this year, Carl Clabor in the number 501. Michael Becker ended up P5 at the end of that race with Pritzai. Dominic Hummels being the last of the 7 out of 8 drivers that managed to finish the full race distance. And despite the fact that he only managed to finish 8 laps and then retire from the race, Christoph Adams still picks up points. Drivers now go onto their formation lap. Just been keeping an eye on social media. Congratulations to another alumni, Pajtski Visser, who has just qualified. I think, well, W Series is currently racing in Singapore at the moment. It's one of the support classes for Formula 1. She was just posted literally a couple of hours ago that P2, and it's quite well saturated because she is at the moment. Less than a 10th off pole, so good luck right skirt for W Series tomorrow. She was the inaugural runner-up in the championship, ran alongside the DTM back in 2019, and she has raced with us before. And the classes, well, she ran in KZ2 actually, in the 2 championship years that were won by Giovanna Bunches. So let's see what happens here, because this is going to give us an idea of how tomorrow might work out. So revs rise, lights are out. Drivers are underway. Looks like the 13 minutes start to count down. Becker finds himself. Well, he did briefly. Oh, that's a bit of a wake-up call there for Christoph Adams, I think. Going through into turn number 2. Thomas Piet leading the way. Paul Levaux in second position. Ian Getz running at the top 3 ahead of Carl Clabor, who finished 4th in the previous race. Carl's best finish actually. He had a 4th place finish at the last race at Marienborg, and he's also equalled that best score. I still remember in 2019 where he dominated the opening round, a full perfect score, just like Ian Getz did this year. And this is where things are going to get a little bit more interesting, because it's about who between Getz and Levaux, how they finish at the end of this race, will then give us an idea of the title picture going into tomorrow. Because from tomorrow, I will be taking drop scores into consideration. It is getting rather close to the wire for a lot of these championships. Just looking at things from my perspective, DD2 going to go down to the wire. Senior Rotax down to the wire. Junior Rotax a little bit further, a little bit more of a stretch. Mini down to the wire, and I think possibly Micro could be the same as Juniors. But these 4 of the titles are going to see us go right down to the last lap of the season of the last final. 11 minutes and a quarter still to go. Carl Clabor now puts himself up the inside of Ian Getz. Now that's probably, I think, maybe something that Paul Levaux might have wanted. Or he won't want is Carl Clabor to overtake him. However, when you come onto the home turf of one Carl Clabor, aka the Backer, or the man that I used to nickname, because I had to shorten it because it was so long, we used to call him the fastest baker in Flanders. Now, Carl is a baker by trade. He has multiple different bakeries around the local area. And he's one of the nicest people you want to meet. But he's a very determined racer. 2019, he actually picked up not just the BNL Karting Series crown, he also won the Belgian Max Challenge that year. So now Thomas Piet is pulling away from Paul Louvois. Carl Clibot is chasing the 564 from France. And he does a textbook of what he did to Ian Getz. Paul Louvois able to get the switch back. Louvois gets back into second. And Ian Getz was trying to get the undercut on Carl Clibot at the same corner as well. However, the 502 was unable to facilitate that. So 9 3/4 minutes still remaining on the clock. Thomas Piet's lead is just over half a second. He dominated the series last time. Country mile. Ball. First came across this individual. Oh, right. Michael Becker has just pulled into pit lane. Okay, so that means we've got some points for that one. About the same as what Christoph Adams got in the previous race. So 4 minutes down, 9 to go. Fastest driver out there is Paul Louvois, 55.165 seconds. And he was less than 4 tenths behind Thomas Piet, so the gap is closing between first and second. So if Paul Louvois can get himself a further part in between himself and Ian Getz, that is going to help him a hell of a lot. At the moment, well, it's going to help him a little bit more, but it's going to be close. Now Louvois pulls out of the slipstream, decides to send it. There we go. That means, Thomas Piet nearly got a rude awakening there through turn 2, because not only did Paul Louvois get through and take the lead of the race, and he nearly had Carl Clibot up his inside through turn 2, and nearly came together at the wheels. Now Thomas Piet retains the favour through turn 7. Now Piet drifts wide, that nearly opened the door for Louvois there. Louvois was very keen to back out of it, just to make sure he didn't cause himself any strife. Just over 7.5 minutes to go is the top 4 line astern. Oh, bit of a send there. Pit side up the inside of Dominic Hummels. And Hummels gets the switch back through turn 12. Once again, another lap. There's Louvois back up the inside of Thomas Piet to retake the lead on the beginning of lap number 7. Now, can Carl Clibot spring a surprise on the 550 up ahead? Not through turn 6, he doesn't. As we're coming on turn 6 and into the yellow line once again. Oh, a bit of a clash between the pair. Now, Paul Louvois is fighting for a championship. He does not need someone like Thomas Piet trying to have too much aggression. Because if that was an issue for Paul Louvois, he would be another retirement. Now he's got Carl Clibot and he's just signalling to him saying, come on, let's move forward. Carl Clibot didn't see that because Paul Louvois' right shoulder was blocking the fact that he was pointing forward. Officially half-time through this final on the penultimate day of the season. Scrap between these 4 here as a little bit of a tap from behind. Louvois went for the send, managed to get through on Piet. Piet's going to go through and then decides to put the boot on the other foot, so a bit too close for comfort. Piet was shutting the door. Louvois was committed and went for the move, and now this has brought in Dominic Hummels and Pitsai into what has become a 6. Oh, Pitsai up the inside of Hummels through turn 10. Nice move there by the Estonian. I just wanted to see where Christoph Adams is. He's probably decided to call it a day. Oh, bit of a push and shove. As Pritzai, yep, Christoph Adams has decided to call it time. He doesn't want to be sort of sitting a bit further back than everybody else, so Christoph Adams decides that's time for me. Oh, Dominic Hummels has just picked up a 5-second time penalty for breaking the start. All 4 wheels out, 2 wheels out the tram lines. So 3-second time penalty. Louveau and Clerbourg now side by side. They went into turn number 7. Now this is looking very, very nice to the eyesight of one Ian Getz, because now this has really started to give us a dynamic for tomorrow. And depending on what the weather's going to do tomorrow, could be that equaliser that gives us the battle that we need at the end of the season. Like a lot of you fans out there, I'm a fan of motorsport as well, and I want to see a championship right down to the wire. And that's what we're seeing in DD2 Masters. We've got some great drivers in this championship, and especially those ones 2nd, 3rd and 4th. 4 1/4 minutes still to go. And Thomas Piet has started extending his lead over Carl Clerbourg to about the best part, to the tune of about the best part of 0.6 of a second. But the good thing is when you have these kind of quality drivers. Oh, right. Now there's a move. That's Ian Getz up the inside of Paul Louveau. That, more importantly, is for 3rd place on the road. You know what this means? Folks, we've got a fight on our hands. And now it changes again. Louveau up the inside to retake 3rd position through turn 2. Neatly shuts the door so Getz cannot respond. So through they go, off of turn number 7 once again. Two minutes 50 on the clock remain. Carl Clerbourg closing in on Thomas Piet, as Paul Louveau battling away with Ian Getz for the final place in the top 3. And what's more, that's championship points that are very, very crucial to tomorrow. Oh, that was a bit of a moment there for Pritzai. Went a little bit wide coming out of turn 6 onto the Yellow and now it's changed again. So Paul Louveau behind Ian Getz. Carl Clerbourg still closing in on Thomas Piet for that race lead. Now Carl Clerbourg is looking for the lead there. He's been after a win all year, is Carl Clerbourg. It's not been an easy season for the 501. Minute and 3/4, anything can happen. Probably what's going to be around about the next 3 laps. We're into lap number 13. So he's now going through into turn number 6. The yellow line once again. Dominic Hummels has pulled away from Pritzai. Christoph Adams calling time on lap 6. Michael Becker out on lap number 3. So I would imagine that they've both had some kind of technical issues. So 60 seconds on the clock remain in the last final of the penultimate day of the season before we go to our last heat for Genie Rotax. Gap between Thomas Piet and Carl Clerbourg now is just over 0.17 of a second. And onto lap number 14. Looks to be out of 15 laps in total, maybe 16 at a push. pace they've been setting, and Ian Gepps on that last tour, 54.945 seconds. Drivers making their way down from turns 9 into 10. Time. How quickly they can get through turn 12, put the pedal to the metal, and then come out of it. Go at full velocity across the line. It's going to be close. 3 seconds to go. 2 more laps remain as the timer hits 0 now. The gap between first and second now expands to 3.5 tenths. Nearly doubles on the previous lap. Ian Gepps again, another fastest lap of the race. 54.815 seconds, nearly a tenth quicker than the race leader Thomas Pitt, who has had. Carl Clebor closing in on him. Carl Clebor has also gotten into the 54s, but that was on the previous tour, 54.994 seconds. As they make their way through turn 7, now into 8. Into the left-hander here at 9, before the run down to the right-hander at turn 10. Dominic Hummels has been closed in again by Pitt's side as they're going to go into turn 10. There's a bit of a nasty bump going through into turn 11. It's about how you master that to try and get through. But the last lap board is out for the DD2 Masters, and Carl Clebor is closing. Keep your eyes on Ian Gepps. He's only 4.5 tenths off the leader. Going on to the final lap. What surprise can Ian Gepps bring in the next 30 or so seconds? We're about to find out because they're heading through turn number 4 and 5 for the final time. Now into turn 6. Well, it's going to be close. It could be a bit of a squabble between these three. Boulevard's going to have to effectively. Oh, there's a send for Ian Gepps, and he goes over the top of Carl Clebor. He's given an advantage to Paul Levant, and Carl Clebor has said, Ian, what on earth are you doing, man? You've just taken us out on the last lap of the race. Round of applause there for Ian Gepps, and I hope that was not a sarcastic bow from Ian Gepps, because there as he pulled the cart down off the top of the Nassau panel. Well, that was an interesting development. Paul Levant now takes second. Dominic Hummels, I think that is his highest finish this season, takes a P3 by 52 thousandths of a second. Well, that is a drama and a half for Paul Levant and, well, not for Paul Levant, for Ian Gepps and Carl Clebor, because that now means that's 20 points for Paul Levant, and that's and Ian Gepps finishing in 6th. That's really hurt his chances. But Thomas Pitt takes the win by nearly a second and a half. Paul Levant in second ahead of Dominic Hummels, Pitt's side. Carl Clebor rounds out the top 5 with Ian Gepps classified in 6th. Christoph Adams retiring on lap 6, and he was 7th, with Michael Becker finishing on lap 3 with a technical issue on lap number 3 in the 5.26.